This is the video review of the second accessory mecha of Gokaiger, the Gokai Machine 02 Pat Striker. Now, as you can see, I have the original Pat Striker here for comparison. Now, this is the American version, not the Japanese version. But anyway, as you can see, this is a little bit smaller and quite a bit more sleek. I really like this redesign because it's not quite as chunky and it looks a bit more proportional, and that's because it doesn't have to combine with anything and then also have to look like a good robot. So I do like this vehicle mode. I especially like how many more colors it has. Not that there's anything wrong with this. This is a fine color scheme, but this looks a bit more interesting. I like the gold here, the Gokaiger symbol, the rainbow here. I like how they turned these into Gatling guns. And then what I really like about this is the this red right here. It's a nice glossy metallic paint, and it just looks amazing. Now in the original, this red stripe here is just the color of the plastic. It's nice and glossy and it looks good, but this looks like it's a collector's item by how it's painted here, and it looks really nice. Anyway, as far as the visuals, that's as far as it goes. I'll spin these around so you can compare them. And like the original, this one does have electronics. Turn them on down here. And has the same basic turn-on sound. Just a little bit different, quieter. This is the Korean version, by the way. I found that was the cheapest way I could get on eBay. And that engine start sound, it's the same basic kind of shock detection sound that this makes. Then the second sound this makes is just a siren noise that this thing makes. It's a bit slower, but this is pretty it's pretty faithful to the original, although it's speaking Korean, not Japanese, or in the case of this, not speaking at all. I don't know if the Japanese version of the Pat Striker had Japanese voice clips, but this one just doesn't talk. Anyway, I'll put this off to the side for now until I do want to show one other last sound effect, two sound effects that this has at the end after I combine it with Gokaioh, and then show off the equivalent on this. But for now, I'll put this off to the side, and we can start combining this with Gokaioh. So to begin, we will pull these off from the front, pull these off to the side, and you get a pile of parts. Now we pull in Gokaioh. I will be so glad when I'm not reviewing Gokaiger stuff anymore, because I just hate these doors because they either don't open at all, or they don't want to stay open, or they want to stay open when I want them to close, and these doors are just a really, really big hassle. I wish they just been so that when they're released, they just spring load out, and out when they're not latched in is the default option. That would have made these reviews so much easier because I've done quite a few takes on this. Anyway, now take apart, and to know where it goes, look on the inside. There's an arrow. This is yellow and it's pointing up. That means that this is the top side, and this piece goes in the yellow. Let's see. Close that up. The other one will go into the pink. And then we can do the same thing with these bits here. Put them in. Put them in. Put them in. And then here's where it gets kind of interesting. This bit right here. Actually, I'm going to turn this on. But anyway, this bit right here, when you put it in, the chest cavity is very deep and it doesn't look very good. But when you push it all the way in, then it pops out. And what's happening here is this bit right here pops out, and I think that is brilliant. Now, what happens with this is when you close this up, it presses on the button in there, and when that button is pressed for over a certain amount of time, then it changes the sound effect, and it'll change it to the sound effect you get when the Pat Striker goes into its, well, I'll just show you. It changes to that sound effect. So when we open this, and on the feet here, these are not going to open all the way. They're going to open part of the way and then slam back shut. It's a foregone conclusion. Now, it makes that sound. And then what happens next is you press the button and it makes that sound, the same sound that is the second sound effect of the robot mode of this guy. There we go. Anyway, so the sound effects on this thing are very close to the original, and I appreciate that quite a bit. And this is what it looks like with all the doors open. And I like the way this looks. I don't think this is as visually dynamic as a Magidragon, so as far as combining with Gokaioh, I don't like this set as much, but it does have a couple more tricks up its sleeve. For example, pop these out, and then there's a little red thing in here. And then these turn into, yeah, I'll turn off Pat Striker. And then these turn into guns, and I think that's a pretty neat usage of parts, because otherwise, except for the electronics being nice and a very good homage to the Pat Striker, this set is kind of underwhelming just because it's not as kinetic as the Magidragon, and the whole point of the gimmick here being fun is for it to be kinetic, and it's not kinetic with a Pat Striker. It's kinetic with the Magidragon, which makes the Magidragon excellent, but yeah, this is a bit harder to recommend than a Magidragon, just because you have to already like the Pat Striker. The Delta Squad Megazord is one of my favorite Megazords, even though I'll get to reviewing that, and I'll talk about why I like that one so much, even though it has kind of the same basic transformation, or combination scheme of Gokaioh. I'll get to that one in a bit. But I like the Pat Striker a lot, and I especially like this rendition of it. I'm not as pleased by how it interacts with Gokaioh as I am with Magidragon, but for me, it is a nice little set. I do like it pretty well. And it does add some play value to Gokaioh, who desperately needs it. So, if you are kind of on the fence with it, I might look at the Gao Lion Gokai machine, or the Furumaru from Ninpu Sentai Hurrikanger. I would maybe look at that, or maybe Mach Alkin, because this by itself is kind of a bit of a boring combination sequence with Gokaioh. Anyway, I've started a Facebook page. You can see the link down there. I will soon be announcing several contests on there, and if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the page and give it a like. And yeah, I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Macross figures, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.